Hello, it's me, Pavlo, as usual. I'm sorry for the delay in the reviews that happened recently. I hope I'll overcome all obstacles on this part and I will return to the previous tempo of releasing the reviews. And let's call it a soft reboot, and let's start it with something new, recent and interesting. It's FiiO's KA13, and as name suggests, it's the new updated version of the FiiO's dongle digital tonal converter KA3. Actually, you know, for me it seems that KA3 was released not so long ago, but dongle digital tonal converters is fast developing market, so new model is required to keep your market share probably. And FiiO definitely did a lot of work. It's actually marked as a co-product with Jade Audio. They did a lot of work to make this digital tonal converter really up to date. It uses dual CS43131 digital tonal converters. It delivers a lot of power, up to 550 milliwatts, which is super impressive, but not sure that it's that convenient. It supports all high resolutions, of course, all DSD, high res, and so on. And also it has SPDIF output. Not sure about the usefulness of this feature, but some people probably can leverage it and use as USB to coaxial adapter. And also it has RGB LED inside, and also pretty new interesting design. So everything looks pretty promising. As you can see, there are two colors, silver and black one. And actually, let's have a closer look. First, let's do unboxing, then we'll take Berlin. And as you can see, package is pretty minimalistic, typical for the FiiO recent products. Nice color combination of gray-blue and red letters, two versions of this dongle printed on the box, so everything is made really well. We open this box, getting inside manual, but who reads the manual? Device itself and small box with accessories. Despite of this being just a basic dongle, FiiO put all accessories you'll need to use it, except of leather case. I've seen it available on the AliExpress for about $5 or something like that, but I'm not sure is it makes sense at all. So lightning to USB Type-C cable, dual USB Type-C cable, and adapter from USB Type-A to USB Type-C. Basically everything you'll need to connect it to every possible source. And here is device itself. Looks, in my opinion, really great. FiiO decided to go the style they selected for more recent devices like M17 or M11, and they found few interesting features. For example, this pattern on the back side that covered with glass-like material, and on the front side this letter X and small window that actually inside of this window you can see USB Type-C connector and some part of PCB. Not the most interesting part, but taking into account RGB LED inside, I think it looks nice. And also they selected pretty complex pattern here, which also is great. Two outputs, 3.5mm and of course 4.4 Pentacon. Volume control. With recent firmware update it has independent volume controls, and actually this toggle that turns on and off desktop mode. And by desktop mode, of course, they mean that maximum performance mode with 550 milliwatts from the balanced output and 170 from the single-ended output. And if you're using it with your smartphone, of course, you can turn it off and actually drain less battery. But with vast majority of smartphones, I think this desktop mode won't be working properly due to lack of power. In this D mode it became a bit warm, but actually not hot, at least I can say. I didn't measure power consumption, but of course I've seen some other measurements, 150 milliamperes, but it's not my measurement. I use this, I'm like evaluated by eye, and it's slightly above average in terms of battery consumption for the many digital to analog converters I have. And that's the price we paying for better amplification and for the sound. Kind of spoiler, but about the sound we'll talk a bit later. So stylish design, really interesting features, and it really stands out from the other dongle digital to analog converters, both in terms of outlook and some offered features. Here is a companion app, it's FiiO Control, or you can use the same section in the FiiO Music player. And it's recently got updated interface. If you have your opinion, please do share. It's really interesting to read what you think about it. And here is connected now, and you can see the current firmware version, device name, and current sampling rate, but nothing explained so far. And in the settings menu we can only restore to default settings. Unfortunately it doesn't support firmware update from the mobile device. You'll need Windows computer, and you can select SPDIF out, on and off, and you can select indicator light. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, but so far it's turned off because nothing is playing, and turn off until device restart. And you can select one of the built-in filters with indication of what they are doing. And here is a guide with all features described. So everything is simple and pretty straightforward. So just the basic features, but still looks pretty nice. And of course about the sound, I'm still trying to make these parts a bit shorter and briefer. Maybe this time I will succeed, because it's a typical FiiO signature. It's balanced in terms of it doesn't lean towards some natural micro detail focused representation, and neither it tries to be like warm, relaxed or something like that. It's a balanced all in between type of signature with slightly boosted dynamics, and add on top of that a layer of great amplification that gives a pretty decent control. Of course, compared to something more expensive, it lacks a lot of nuances and details, like that small micro nuances on the bass that is typical for expensive devices, treble layering that gives you that sense of spaciousness and stuff like that. But we're speaking about $80 device, and to be honest, you know, for me it's actually a bit reminding M17. It's like its mini version, like mini version of M17. I mean, of course, in terms of overall sound signature. So bass goes really deep, it's well controlled, it has good detalization. Thanks to that bit of added dynamics, it has a slight of additional punch, but not too much. I won't call it warmer, but at the same time you're getting a bit of additional weight sometime and a bit of additional punch to make things like more palpable, more pleasant and more present. It's not a big coloration, just a hint of this sense. It's great with both, I don't know, electronic music and something that requires more resolution, control and stuff like that. So it's a good foundation for the things that I really suggest doing. Get some natural device, and if you need some coloration, you can achieve it with some headphones or earphones. And let's get example for the low frequencies. It's La La Land soundtrack, summer montage, and you know, for me La La Land reminds a little bit Avatar. Like, it was super hit while it was screening, and after that, like, everyone not totally forget about that, but it didn't give us some huge fan club like Star Wars, Star Trek or something like that. And for some musicals we get a lot of cover versions, a lot of reinterpretations, but everyone agrees that it was great, but that's it. And here we're getting a lot of instruments, pretty upbeating, jazzy melody, enjoyable, fun, totally fitting the purpose of this track, and it has nice bass line that this dongle delivers to you with a good sense of realism. And actually, let's start a playback. And no, I disabled highlight, so we'll need to re-enable it for the photos later. And that's about the bass. Mid frequencies are absolutely balanced, so it will sound like the earphones you'll plug. Good amount of details, but not too focused on the micro contrast. Nice amount of dynamics, and that means good emotions. When it's present in the record, you'll get nice weight distribution, but at the same time this dongle won't try to color something. Imaginary stage is pretty big, not huge, not super spacious or three-dimensional, but it has decent width and nice depth with proper layering. It's not gigantic, and width is slightly better than depth, but still it's a viable stage for the portable, affordable device that will give you proper instruments positioning and even back and forth position on the when record is good and allows to deliver this information. Example for the mid frequencies, it's Judas Priest, Painkiller. It's super fast, it requires a lot of technical performance, and this dongle delivers it pretty well, but at the same time, of course, for this track, dongle shouldn't be too warm because it will lack resolution, and it shouldn't be too sharp because it will be unpleasant, and KA13 like fitting nicely here for this track. And the treble, it's also pretty neat, accurate, with good extension, slightly above average, or even slightly better than slightly above average. Not the most, not the biggest expansion, and of course no things like layering, but basic overtone saturation is really nice. Good balance of attacks and decays, meaning that timbre-rich instrument sounds well defined and pretty engaging. So let's go to the example. It's Nino Katamadze, The Road. Great signature vocal of Nino and nice accompaniment of the band with lot of things goes to the treble. Of course it's lacking layering to be fully represented, but still this dongle digital tonal converter with nice earphones or headphones will give you a good result. Speaking about the pairings, there is one thing with low impedance IEMs. It has 1.7, 1.8 ohms of impedance. And with some multi-balanced armature low impedance earphones, it can cause some changes in sound, but I tried it with Andromeda and Solaris and I didn't hear any problems with it. Of course it's lacking performance for these earphones, but it's something we can expect. And also it has a good level of low level of background noise if you won't turn on desktop mode when it's not necessary, meaning that you'll get black background, and with sensitive IEMs it behaves well. On the other end, in the desktop mode, it can drive, I don't know, Sennheiser 600, maybe not perfectly, but you know, on a pretty satisfactory level, so it's pretty impressive results for such a small device. And FiiO really created interesting and unique dongle in this aspect that stands out from the crowd by delivering that amount of power when it has good USB power supply, and I think that a lot of people will find this feature really appealing. Speaking about the comparisons, just 3 of them. So compared to regular KA3, it's a step forward in terms of control. Signature is pretty about the same, and there is no big changes in some aspects of sound, but you're getting a bit more control, meaning a bit firmer bass, a bit more dynamic mids, but all of that is, you know, like a tiny bit. If you like KA3, you don't have to upgrade, but if you got this opportunity and if you're planning to use it with some tough to drive headphones, it can be upgrade can make sense. Shanlink UA2 Pro, if I remember right, the most recent I reviewed, it's a bit more warmer and slightly more relaxed in sound. And iBasso DC03 Pro, also if I remember the index correctly, it's more forward, slightly more focused on the micro contrast and a bit more aggressive. So in general, choice is a matter of your preferences. But I've got few interesting dongle decks coming in the next reviews, so I'll give you a bit more comparisons. To summarize this part, actually really good device, which gives you a balanced sound, which has unique features and will fit many scenarios. So thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.